have you ever imagined Ejen Ali would be this big?
Expectation, yes, we dream for it to be very big, but when it come out, we're like, I guess this is okay. You can give me like 10 good review, one person give bad review, I'll be hung up on that one bad review.
Okay, I am coming out to start a studio. How do you feel back then?
I don't actually want to start a studio, I just want to run my own project, but too bad lah, you already start your own company, now you have to deal with all this.
How does your family think when you want to become an entrepreneur?
Own a business, you are already like sacrificing a lot of your time away from the family. For this second movie, actually I was away during my elder son's birthday. It was actually hard for him and it was hard for me as well.
I see.
Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time. What do you want to achieve in the movie compared to the series?
So going into the second movie, I think the emotional core is Ali's relationship with Alicia, their friendship or rather their rivalry, because they are teammates but they hate each other's guts. Right? And then now in this movie, you finally get to see them in a different light.
Any new info on the new upcoming projects?
Tease a bit lah, we might get a little bit of spin-off earlier than we expected. But
So imagine 10 years old Usamah is sitting in front of you. What would you say to him?
I think I would tell him to
Hey guys, before we jump into today's episode, me and Jim would like to ask you for a quick favor. It turns out that over half of the people who tune into the Entrepreneur Journal haven't subscribed yet.
And if you've been enjoying the conversation that we're having, the raw stories, the strategies, the lesson from creatives, athletes, founders, and dreamers, the best way to spot us is simple. Just hit that subscribe button.
Well, it's free. It just takes 2 seconds and it generally helps us to keep the show going and growing.
And here's our promise to you. We're going to keep showing up with better guests, deeper stories, and better production quality every single week. Now, thank you for being here. Let's get into the episode. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Entrepreneur's Journal. So today we have a very special guest, a very highly requested guest from our community from the Entrepreneur's Journal.
Definitely.
Yeah, and he's the guy behind the Malaysian most iconic homegrown IP, which recently just gained a whopping of 59 million box office ticket in Malaysia. So he's a founder, visionary director, and one of the key pioneers pushing the boundaries in the Malaysian animation industry. Right. So in this episode, we're not just going to talk about animation. We're going to unpack what it takes to build a sustainable creative business, the untold challenges behind creating local IPs, and the future of transmedia storytelling, and how Malaysia can shape its place in the global animation scene. So welcome, Usamah.
Hi.
WAU Animation Studio. Selamat datang.
Thank you for having me. How are you guys?
Yeah, so as promised, we have Usamah in the studio today, and we also have a lot of questions from our YouTube channel, the community from the Entrepreneur's Journal, which we're gonna shoot it to you later at the end of this episode. So everybody watching, please watch till the end to listen to Usamah's answer to your question personally.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, but first of all, congratulations on Ejen Ali The Movie 2.
Thank you.
Right, it's a great success, in theaters here in Malaysia. So how do you feel?
Grateful. I think through most of it, it's how to say, like people love to ask like, what do you think is the reason behind the success, or what's your recipe, or what's the factor? After like 3 seasons of Ejen Ali and 2 movies, the more we do it, the more I don't know the answer. Like at this point, I feel like what have we been doing right? Because it's a lot of it is grinding, and we try to improve in a sense, like how we do it differently this time, right? But at the end, it seems like most of that we do is grinding. It's like we try to guess or try to troubleshoot the problems early, but yeah, somehow you just keep running into challenges, and it turns into like grind and a lot of hard work, and at the end it's just like, put all your faith in it and trust that it might work out, and wait for how the world would react. So yeah, I think the feeling would be like so grateful, relief, humbled by the experience.
But have you ever imagined Ejen Ali would be this big when you first started Ejen Ali?
It's it's a very bipolar expectation if you ask me, right?
It's like numb already. Yeah.
It's like when of course when you do it, you want to believe that this is the best thing you ever create and you'd be able to create. But going through it towards the end, especially for me and my team at WAU, right? Like we never stop because it's done. We stop because time ran out. Like it's the deadline is here. So it's like in our head, it's like, you always want to do the most extra, the most grand thing, right? But at the end, you're like, is this good enough? So expectation, yes, I think we dream for it to be very big, but when it come out, we're like, I guess this is okay. So it's yeah, that's what I mean. Like you feel macam can or not, but yeah, I think so far that's why I always say like it feels like every time it's another fluke, right?
So was that the same feeling you have before Ejen Ali, like the day before it start airing in the cinema?
It is like even and you feel right because your first screening usually would be with the stakeholders, right? And they also understand like the situation. Like now that we're doing the final preview, even if it's not good enough, right? They won't like give it to you straight. They won't be like, this is not gonna fly. They will be polite enough to tell you, I think this is I think this will work. It's good. But in your head, like, is it really? And then your early screening is with the hardcore fans, right? So of course with fans, they are very invested in what you do. So I think you have like a small percentage of bias leaning towards your side, right? But I think once you have your movie reviewers, right? That also, I think there's two groups, because movie reviewers who you invite to watch for free probably gonna give you good reviews,
good
right?
Reaction,
like,
good
even
reviews.
though, like, I hope it's the most honest and transparent, because I think it's for their well-being of their business, right? They need to keep getting invites, right? So sometimes I know you're walking on eggshells, but then you also have the group of reviewers who pay to watch, right? And these people will go hard lah. So I think you have the stages, and I would say also it's not realistic to expect everyone to give you good reviews.
For
right?
sure.
You know what you've created. You also know it's not perfect, and perfection is almost unattainable. So your hope is that whatever you presented, the strength would cover up the flaws, right? But at the end, you will have the so-called bad reviews as well. And as a creator, I know some creators have developed very thick skin, like kebal already.
Yeah,
like,
that's a skill by itself. Man.
Yeah, like they can, you can say whatever, right? Like
it's not going to affect me.
Yeah, it's not going to affect. I understand this is part of the business, but I'm not like that lah. You can give me like 10 good review, one person give bad review, I'll be hung up on that one bad review. But it's like I noticed like the first couple of weeks after the movie was released, I tend to go into this roller coaster of emotion cycle, because you scroll through your social media, like you have so many people talking about Ejen Ali. Like first you find like good ones, right? And then you get to the bad ones. And then after I read a couple or a few bad ones a day, I was like, okay, that's enough social media for today. So I need to get away. Yeah, I need to get away just so that, I'm not in that like very down state, right? Like, yeah, because...
How do you deal with it?
Just get away lah. Like
away.
I understand, like I digest, but at the same time I was like trying to keep your emotional health well, right? Like, because this is like a huge part of who you are, like your work, your for us it's like what we produce, we hope it's our masterpiece, right? But there's also so many other things going on in your life, your family, your children. So you can't let that thing affect you the rest of the other spectrum of your life. So yeah, and of course I'm a Muslim, so it's a lot of it also is spiritual. You you go and pray and hope for that peace of mind. Yeah.
Do you take those critics, those feedback very seriously? Like, okay, this one, next round I'm gonna fix it as much as I can, or you just filter it out, and forget about it next time, or you'll find something that maybe this is relevant, I can fix this.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to have a filter as well. Of course, when you first receive the feedback, usually the reaction is not well. Like sometimes you cursing in your head also, like but most of the time when you reapproach the next white canvas, right? Like what story you're gonna tell next. Of course, I believe all this will come into play, and of course the quality of feedback also got different ones. Some are very shallow. Some is very shallow but good one, right? Means it's shallow but it's true. Like you feel like they're calling you out kind of thing. Some can sound very educated but actually got no content one. So you have to identify, and I think you have to also be very aware of your own voice, of your own intention. Means you cannot please everyone. This is definitely, I think, part of doing creative work. It's not going to be possible. You can't have all the audience love your work. So I think it's more important to understand whether this feedback, whether they are connecting with what you're trying to say, or they are missing the point, and why they are missing the point, right? Sometimes, because when you get feedback, sometimes people, like we call this a diagnose, right? You don't always get the right diagnose, but you can try to spot what's causing the sickness, right? I remember in watching Incredibles punya making, the scene where Bob and Helen were arguing after he come back late, and then he took that brownie and started, and then she was waiting for him in the dark, and then they were arguing. Inside the making, Brad Bird was saying how their brain trust kept pointing out that this scene feels like Bob was just bullying Helen, even though like she's trying to call him out, but it feels like he's the more aggressive one. Yeah. And then what he realized is because of the way the shot turns out, because Bob is such a very big character, very big silhouette, whereas Helen is very slender, very small. So to overcome that, he go and stretch Helen. When she was arguing, if you watch it again, right, she then becomes like towering over Bob.
Okay.
And then when he show it again to the brain trust, they didn't realize what he has changed, but he noticed that the diagnosis has gone. So yeah, that's the kind of thing. Sometimes you have to pay attention not to just what people are saying, but to what they are not saying, right? And understand what you are trying to say, more importantly. Yeah,
that makes sense. So let's take it back a bit. So we're going to go into Ejen Ali 2 deeper later. But let's take it back a bit. Who was Usamah before all of this happened? Before WAU Animation Studio?
Where you study, why you are into this animation industry.
Yeah.
Okay. I grew up in KL. My family from all over. Like, actually, my father from Kedah. My birth mom from Kanga. My stepmom from North also. She's actually Sempadan, Kedah, Penang and Perak. I was actually born in Sarawak, Bintulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because my dad was
was
working there
there.
for yeah. But I didn't live there long enough for me to actually remember anything or know how to speak.
Sarawak
Yeah,
language.
it was. I think I was there for about 1 year before coming back to Semenanjung, and through the most part, I live in KL lah. To be specific, more around the Kramat area, the AU4, AU5, Taman Permata. Yeah. And yeah, I went to school in Keramat also. Primary school was Hulu Kelang, where they shoot the very iconic scene Piramli punya cikgu suka main bola, hari-hari cikgu main bola.
Right.
It was that school. And then high school was Lembah Keramat. Yeah, I was just public school lah, not asrama or anything. And I was a science student.
Very academic.
Science student, but because I enjoy drawing, I like to draw a lot, right? My father say, okay lah, no need to take bio, go take technical drawing. So that was as close as I got to my art education in the first 11 years of studying lah. It wasn't until I already got my SPM result. It was decent lah, not to say it wasn't bad. It wasn't so good that I can go to anywhere I want, but it was decent enough to apply. My father wanted me to do engineering or architecture because I like to
Technical
draw.
drawing.
It was actually my elder brother who suggested for me to try MMU. Because he said, this MMU was fairly new that time. He was like, all his friends who go there, they do a lot of stuff with computer, like I said. So this probably areas that are up and coming, and you're probably gonna have a good chance landing in areas that are up and coming lah. But the fine print was that my father didn't want me to live too far from home. Because my elder brother was no longer living at home. My younger brother was away in boarding school. So he wanted me to be close lah, don't go to like other states. So the MMU got 2 campus, one in Melaka, then there's another one in Cyber. Engineering was in Melaka. So the one in Cyber was creative multimedia.
The closer one lah, right?
Yeah. I had no idea what it was, right? Creative multimedia. But I was flipping through the brochure to see like what they have in Cyberjaya. So there was one rendered image, like a 3 rendered image, which I assume probably like a senior's work or probably the lecturer punya shot or something. When I saw that, it triggered me because I was playing Final Fantasy 7 that time. So when I saw that picture, I was like, hey, this look like Final Fantasy. In my head, it's like, if I go here, will I get to learn how to make this, right? So I fill out lah, and then turns out the offer for MMU came first before the other 2. I do get, I think for architecture, I got the offer, but it was later after I have started in MMU. And then when I go to MMU, I think it was what we are taught there that opened my eyes. It was very different. I feel like it was very different from the 11 years of education, because first 11 years was like mathematics, science, and all this, right? Sejarah. But this one, suddenly it's like design fundamentals, right? Like what's positive and negative space, contrast, layout, composition. I'm like, now suddenly it's like, and then because I enjoy comics, right? Which is why I also like to draw. I enjoy cartoon. I love playing video games. So now when learning all this design fundamental, right? It was suddenly it dawned upon me, right? Like, hey, that's why like I like this kind of thing. That's why when I read this page, right, when Goku do this, that is why. That's why I feel. It's like sudden. I don't know why. I know this sounds very dumb lah, but I don't know why. Growing up, when I was consuming all these things, it never dawned upon me to think like how it was made or like who was making it.
And why you will make like that?
Yeah. It never, not once I stopped to think. I was just enjoying, and then all I know is that Akira Toriyama do Dragon Ball, right? Takehiko, in a way, do Slam Dunk, because they have the inlay there. But other than that, like I never gave it like much thought. Even I play games, right? Finish, got credit rolling. I never think like, who are these people, right? But yeah, now it's like like third eye open up, right? Like another dimension that makes it interesting lah. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning, and I guess when you start enjoying something, you tend to spend more time on it. when you spend a lot of time on it, you tend to get good at it lah. I think it also worth mentioning that I think my biggest growth in animation came from when we were in the second year majoring. Because we had first year majoring. We had our fundamental year, first year, and then second year is when we start picking our major, which is first year major and then our final year. When I start doing my major, I was living off campus, which means I wasn't around other students as much. I wasn't around my classmates as much because living off campus. And I think it's also important to note no internet in that house. If I wanted to use internet, I need to go cyber cafe, RM2 1 hour. Right?
During that time still got RM2.
that time is still all the fiber just starting to come in. Yeah.
It wasn't intentional to do all that, but because you have to apply for placement in campus, and then whether you get or not is down to your result, your curricular activities, all this, right? So I didn't get. I wasn't very serious in applying also pun. But I think it helped because I noticed what I noticed when we were doing our assignments, right? When you are around other students, you tend to be comfortable with what the status quo is. For example, you get 2 months to do your assignment. You enjoy your first 2 weeks not doing anything. You see your friend also haven't started. So you feel, I'm good, right? After 1 month, he start a bit already. Oh, he's starting already. I start a bit also. Right? So, and then people tend to do work last minute and you feel it's okay because you are maintaining the status quo as everyone else, right? But when you are living away, you have no idea what other people are doing, and it's all up to your imagination. And you're thinking like, what if my work is like the worst, right? I remember doing my first walk cycle. It's like I play back. The thing is like you have your reference, right? Like you pose according to the tutorial and all this, and then you start playing back. It's like, what happened? Why does it not look like a walk at all? And then you're thinking, oh my God, I'm in trouble, right? And then you try again, you delete and then try again, you try. Because in my head, my references are what you see on TV, what you see from Disney, from Pixar, all this. Those are what you feel is what animation should look like.
That is like the benchmark and the reference that we should follow.
So I keep trying and trying until suddenly you go to submit your work, right? The lecturer will be like, wow, how come you're very different, this is very advanced compared to all the other students, right? I was like, oh, really? But you see, but it was precedented by a lot of freaking out and like, you feel like, oh my God, have I picked the wrong major? Why I can't even animate a walk? How am I going to animate everything else, right? Like
self-doubt.
Yeah, like it was, but you go through all that and then you polish lah, yeah.
I can feel exactly what you're saying because I was the opposite of you. Although I was off campus, right? But I still look at my friends, they haven't started. And then in the end, crunch time, everybody working overnight, 24 hours, never sleep and submit the works, right? But you are completely different. You actually made you better even.
I think it helped. It made me realize, how to say, sometimes the answer is actually so obvious, right? But we don't pay attention, right? It's like, you already know, like you need to put in the time, all this, but somehow you feel that's the danger of being in the status quo. Yeah.
So you became a top student then?
That year I was a star. I never imagined I could become a top student, right?
By accident.
By accident, yeah. And then I realized, it's like as long as you go to class, as long as you pay attention, right? And then you try you actually try. The thing is a lot prior to that, right? I was exactly like everyone else. Like you do tomorrow nak submit already, tonight only I kelam kabut, I panic, right? Yeah. Other times you love to hang out lah. right? You hang out, like just
bit.
yamcha your friend.
Yeah.
Until like, tomorrow got class. It's already 3 a.m. Alah, can wake up lah. And then you go back at
Totally
5. And then you
understand,
don't wake up. And then you don't go to class, right?
Miss the class.
Yeah. So, but because you are in that circle, right, in that status quo, so you feel it's okay. I'm not doing so bad.
Right. So after you graduated, did you went and work first before you started? So how was the progress from graduated from college all the way to WAU Animation Studio?
This episode of the Entrepreneur Journal is brought to you by Primeworks. If you are looking for top-notch creative solutions, whether it's high-quality graphic production, branding, motion graphics, Primeworks is the team you want on your side. They have worked with amazing brands. If you need creative firepower, hit them up. Check them out in the description below, and thanks to Primeworks for supporting the Entrepreneur Journal. Now, back to the conversation.
Okay, I graduate. We in our major film and animation. To graduate, we need to make a short film. So I actually joined force with Nizam from Monster.
Monster.
So
And
Nizam
Safwan.
is one of your colleague. Your
Groupmate
classmate.
lah. Yeah.
Classmate or
were,
roommate? Classmate.
At first we just classmate, and then when we both picked animation major, we started hanging out lah. Funny guy. Also, I enjoyed hanging out with him. He is also very good in 3D production stuff, right? Like, so we tend to hang out and sembang quite a bit. And then for the final year, he said, "Nak group up, like maybe we can try do something." I said, "Okay lah, we try." So from classmate to classmate to when we were doing our final year, we become roommate also lah, to make it easier to
collaborate lah.
to collaborate. Yeah. So our short film, Missy Mustaha, it was like this 7-minute short. If I may share, right, like the moment when we need to present our work for the last time lah, I guess. So it was in this hall called the E-Theatre. It sits probably about 200-300 people, right? In there you have your classmates, their parents, juniors, seniors. You have industry representative.
Everyone come to
evaluate. Because MMU does that. They would invite like some industry rep to give feedback, and it's also an opportunity for the industry people to
Head
also
hunter.
have first dip lah. So anyway, very nervous, right? Missy Musta was meant to be like a funny animation lah. I think it wasn't exactly the nicest looking one that year. Probably top 3. But it was definitely the funniest one. So when we you do like a short intro, and then you start rolling. About 5-6 seconds in comes the first comedy punchline, and then people start giggling a bit, right? Then after that, another punchline, they start to laugh more, and then after like one after another, by the end of it, people were just roaring with laughter, right? And then credits roll, and then people were clapping their hands. It was a very surreal feeling. I would say, actually, in that moment, I know it's like I felt this is what I could do, what I want to do for a living, right? Post Missy Mustaha, Nizam actually tried to rally us together to go work at the same place, so that we can stay as group and keep working on our own thing lah, aside from just so first place we worked, we were doing some outsourcing job lah for a company in China or Taiwan. I can't remember. All I remember is that it was animated in Mandarin. Me and Nizam, we were appointed as group leader, but we have to like consult our colleague, like, what is this character saying actually? Because you want to try to come up with the
No
acting,
Google
right?
Translate back then.
Yeah. So, but yeah, after about 4 months working there, we had the opportunity to meet up with Tuan Haji Burhan, and then we had that meeting, and then it became like an opportunity to start our own studio lah, which was Let's Go Park Production. So that I think we were very blessed to have had that opportunity at such a young age. And then we went on to start Upin and Ipin while making Gang, that was released in 2009. Later that year, Nizam left, so I stayed on, took the helm at Let's Go Park. At first, I was animation director and then become executive director after Nizam left. And then after, I suppose, like steering the production ship for about 4 years, I think, after he left. 3 or 4. But in total, I was there for about 7 to 8 years like that.
I see.
Before I finally left to start WAU
to start
Animation.
your WAU Animation.
Yeah.
But how do you feel when I am coming out to start a studio? Am I ready or not? I'm becoming an entrepreneur. How do you feel back then?
I didn't know I was going to become an entrepreneur.
Everyone has to start somewhere.
I think after looking back after I've started WAU, right, my realization is that I don't actually want to start a studio. I just want to run my own project. I want to tell my own story, all
own
this.
IP.
But too bad lah. You already start your own company. Now you have to deal with all this. But yeah, it was a lot of uncertainty. But I really, because it was a lot of wondering in my head, like what if we try this kind of story? What if we try to run the studio this way? What if? So I didn't want to live just wondering. I wanted to find out lah. Yeah, but of course it was daunting. I mean, my siblings thought I was like crazy to live such a, because I mean Upin Ipin was not a minor success. It was big success.
It was a
big
huge success.
And I was living well, like it was very stable. My son was like 2 years old. Yeah, so to leave all that behind, and even crazier to have your team member want to join you. So now it's it becomes even crazier lah. Yeah.
But do you feel scared, self-doubt, nervous when you start that time?
To this day, I still feel. Of course, at varying degree. Yeah. you ride the wave. But yeah, it's how to say it. It's a very humbling way to live. I feel brings you really close to God. Like you feel it's an opportunity that you have to earn every day. It's not easy lah. I mean, it's scary, yes, definitely. But like I said lah, because you don't always when you have secured like the next big job, right? You know where the money is coming in, all that. You just have to make sure you can deliver on schedule. Right? Yeah. But yeah, there have been times, especially after COVID, post-COVID. It was a huge time of uncertainty, delayed projects, schedules changed. It was very scary lah. Like you just have to go through lah.
Talk us through a bit about how you started WAU Animation Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like, coming out starting your first studio, you need money, capital, and then going into your first IP, Ejen Ali, as the core product of the business, right?
Yeah.
How did that happen? That whole process.
Well, first I think when we were leaving, when I was leaving, then some of my friends wanted to join. So we sort of like know that okay, so we have enough people to start something. Means because between the directors lah, I would call them my partners, Faiz, Shafiq, Fuad and Azmi. Between the five of us, our skill set sort of like covers the entire production need, right? You have audio, someone who can do audio, someone who can do visual, someone who can animate. So yeah, we knew that we will want to create our own IP. We started actually, I borrowed money from my in-law, my wife's parents.
Oh, sorry, Aziz, your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, she don't like to add that out, but yeah.
Okay.
I borrowed my in-law punya money, so we had like some capital to last us about like 6 months, right? I've researched a bit lah, like okay, to secure financing, like a grant, starting grant, development grant or something, you will need close to a year lah. A year, maybe some even a year and a half before you finally see the money. So we know you have to hit the ground running. It's like start the studio already, straight away look for a job to do lah, to make sure you have build your runway, right? At the same time, we start thinking up idea. We do all these brainstorm sessions to come up with the idea. I've actually shared this before, how we come up with Ejen Ali. It's like this brainstorm exercise which I picked up from attending one of the workshops. When you think about an idea, you don't think in a group, you think separately. So I told my teammate to do that. Like, okay, I want everyone to come up with at least 5 ideas of what kind of show we want to do. So after like a 1 day part, call them back. Everyone need to present their idea. And when you present the idea, the rule is you cannot discount the idea first. You cannot say why this idea won't work. Everyone must pile on, right? Because we want to see based on the spark, which one have a lot of leg in it lah. Yeah. So after all that, we then start cancelling out the ideas that is very apparent, that it's very obvious that it's not very good lah. That doesn't have much legs in it. And then from the short list, one idea that stood out was, to me at least, was Malaysian Spy. We labeled call it
He seems to
Malaysian
be a
Spy.
huge spy fans. Missy Mustahak from your college day, Mission Impossible, and then now
You know,
Spy.
funnily enough, it didn't dawn upon me at all when we saw like Malaysia Spy. Missy Mustahak didn't dawn until now. People was like pointing out, hey, Missy Mustahak, now Ali also is a Missy. I was like,
They're all linked back.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw Malaysia Spy, I was telling the team, okay, I think this genre is good because you can do action, you can do comedy, which is two like very well received genre, right? And then we can have like all these cool vehicles, gadgets, things to put in there. But I think the biggest USP there is that in telling a story for this genre, you can't get away with just doing a simple story. You can't be too linear, can't be too straightforward. You have to have the investigation aspect of it, like plot twists and things like that. So we felt like, okay, it means we need to like make smart. We call it smart storytelling. Yeah. At that point, of course, we didn't know. It was definitely something outside of our comfort zone. We feel like, can or not want to do this kind of story, right? Tapi I think we felt like if we could deliver on this, then it could be something that the market is missing lah. And I think I think we made the right decision that day.
Until today, like the process, right? Until today, also you still have the doubt, right? Because just now I mentioned, don't know whether this really.
But your 5 partners, right? Just now you mentioned.
Yeah.
Did they have any disagreement with you when you guys went on this to pick this spy genre? The idea?
I think the idea, most of them okay. The one yang I remember got very hard to get everyone on board was one, the company name WAU, and second one the character name Ali. I said I want Ejen Ali, but someone else was like, what Ejen Ali?
So generic, right?
Like at first, like not very confident with the name, but I think sometimes because I get to veto, right? Like I would say no, it's okay lah. We tentatively, unless we can come up with something better, we use this name first lah.
Jalan first.
And then later don't find anything. We just
same thing for WAU Animation Studio. The name.
WAU Animation, because like I think after we've actually sat on the name, after like a few months, I started to be able to uncover the meaning or break it down much better than we first thought about it lah. Because when we say WAU, when we first were discussing, we have a few other names, but I felt WAU could work because it's WAU could mean the Malaysia punya kite. Yeah. But it's also WAU, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So. But some felt like won't the name make us sound too like traditional and old-fashioned at first lah. Yeah. But now I think after we found all the meanings inside, I think it's a very good name. Like it's not just one-dimensional. It's
catchy also, like easy to pronounce, easy to remember.
Yeah.
Right.
But why WAU?
The original reason was that lah. First one is because it's WAU, right? Like
okay.
When you say WAU, it's when you are struck with something amazing, right? It's a reaction. In a way, it's like a promise in our name that we will have to deliver something amazing. You can't name your company WAU and do something meh, right? Like that's the first one. And then second one is the Malaysia kite, because I feel like in our name also it needs to transpire that this is our identity, right? We are Malaysian, and I think in the global animation landscape or content landscape, it's very important to have that distinction of who you are in your voice. You don't want to go out there and just make another Transformer or Ninja Turtle or something like that, right? Like because then you won't find your soul in that lah. And of course, when you talk about WAU, it's a kite. So kite flies. So I think it aspires it represents our aspiration to
fly higher.
Fly high, right?
That makes sense.
But at the same time, a kite, right? It flies. It still needs a string. So represents like no matter how high you fly, you must stay grounded and humble.
Okay.
Wow, that's nice.
Wow, yeah.
That's
like
meaningful.
stay grounded. And it's like one is high and one is low. Like keep on pulling back always. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very
And then
nice.
it's also a kite, so it represents that spirit of play, right? Because a kite is meant to be a toy. Like it's what they do for fun. I know, like traditionally that's what they do. Now maybe kite is very like like very grand, but yeah, that's what a WAU is supposed to represent. And I think it's also important to have that in our work. Like know that to in being creative, you need to have that spirit of play, of having fun in doing your work. And then WAU is also actually a letter and in the Arabic language. Yeah. So which for us, because all the founders, we are Malay Muslim, right? So it represents that side. Like so that what we do is not just to find success in this world, but also in the afterlife. Yeah.
Okay. So walk us through a bit about the whole journey creating Ejen Ali, the challenges that you faced, right? Creating Ejen Ali, the first season, before we move into the movie later on, or like financing, the production challenges, how you guys push it to the market to see how is it received. Like walk us through a bit on the whole journey and the challenges.
Okay. It's a very long story, but I'll try to pick out like the key parts lah. I think the first couple of years, maybe first year was when we, within the first months or first couple of months, we actually released the first Ejen Ali poster. So we've done like some concept drawings, and then we did like the character model already. So we just make a poster out of it lah. And then we announce it like, just to in a way like let everyone know, this is WAU Animation, who we are and what we're gonna do. First feedback was like, hey, why got look like Upin Ipin but with hair? so that pissed us off a bit lah, like Upin Ipin with hair. Because it's the difference. I think I can, looking back like in hindsight, I suppose you can see that. I mean, like our team also from there, right? I think the DNA from there, we were trained there. So I think the stroke in a way like stuck with us. So, but we know also we need to break that stroke lah. So we went back to the drawing board, tried to adjust lagi the change, and then the second iteration of Ali was when we did a proof of concept video. It was about 2.5 minutes long. If you look for it on YouTube, it's called Ejen Ali teaser 1, I think. So prior to this video, I've you see, even within the first couple of weeks, I've already started putting together project paper already, right? We wanted to make a movie lah. So start working on like story synopsis, what kind of rough timeline or this. Start pitching around. Of course, couldn't find anyone who wanted to come on board. I think in 2013, it didn't help that we say we wanted to make a movie, and it wasn't a very good year for movies, especially original movies, not just locally but also globally.
Yeah, globally.
In 2012, right, the top 10 highest grossing movies were either sequels, adaptations, or reboot. Right? The only one in the top 10 list that wasn't any of the three category was Pacific Rim. Even then, Pacific Rim was not original.
I think it's
completely
an
original.
Yeah.
It's not adaptation, but it's a tried and tested genre. I feel like your
mecha,
monster,
mecha.
So you know this works with audience already lah. It's just first time, I guess, Hollywood
making it.
Yeah, making it, right? But I think that didn't help lah. So, but we were just like, going through it lah. Just kept we from our first office was in the living room of my apartment. We then moved to MDEX incubator in Mac3. Yeah, Mac3. So from there, actually, it got us more access, because whenever any buyer or someone come to look at what Malaysia have, they would ask MDEC to introduce to students. So MDEC would always like
hopping out,
bringing us to meet lah. Yeah. So then I'll get all this opportunity. I get to pitch to Nickelodeon, Disney, all this, right? And we get feedback. And it wasn't until I've completed that video, and then I sent to pretty much most of the, I guess, people who I imagine would want to invest in this. One of it is Dato' Usamah, who was then CEO of Primeworks. After I sent it, I just sent on because after when we first start the company, I told him starting something new, like, would love to have an opportunity to come see you to present. He said, okay, I will set a meeting. But then never set a meeting for like a whole year, right? And you're wondering when the meeting will happen. But after I sent that, it's more like follow up on my part lah. Like, sending and say, okay, this is a little bit of what we're working on lah. Maybe you can have a look. Still no reply. I think it was only after about 2 or 3 weeks after I sent that video, and it was past midnight, right? It was like very odd hours. Suddenly he messaged, he said, "Looks good. What do you plan to do with it?"
That's the opportunity comes.
Yeah.
How do you feel that time? It's like, oh, he
I was
replied
like,
me.
yeah lah. It was like, oh, you reply me. Baru tengok. 3 weeks. But yeah, I suppose maybe he was just like
Browsing through before sleeping.
Finish already his work for the day. About to just browsing to see like what message he's missed, and then he found that. But yeah, I imagine it was very like think fast. Like I was still awake, right? So I was like quickly.
How should I reply this?
Yeah, we wanted to make a movie, but I replied to him. I said, we actually want to make a movie, but I know Media Prima also have TV. I'm open to explore any strategy you feel like discussing lah. So yeah, and then he said, okay, someone from my team will contact. So there were two parts. One is because one side I think in Media Prima is they focus on acquisition, means they would get the content for right to air for TV. And another side is for the first time they are seeking to invest in an animation IP. I think that sort of like aligned with our timing lah. Yeah, because they have they have been the broadcaster for Upin and Ipin prior to that, as well as Bobo Boy. When Bobo Boy first came in, it was TV3. So this time around, they are at the point they feel like, hey, 2 of the titles that we carried already made it big and we had no stake in it. Like now let's make sure like we find
put into the stick.
but they were also looking like, I mean, from what I understood, we were not the only animation studio that they were talking to. There were few more, and the one that was brought to the board, I think there were another one. I think 2 ideas, including ours, was brought to the board, or maybe 3 at most, right? Yeah, but in the end, like they pick Ejen Ali. Yeah. So from there, then come the challenge of gearing up your team, because prior to that, we try to maintain a small scale, because it's not easy to run with so many people. But once the project want to start already, you kind of have to crank up lah. But also it was surprising to me how long the whole black and white the agreements gonna take. That was shocking lah. So we were gearing up, but at the same time also, we no money already, right?
Chicken and egg thing.
Yeah. But I think most creators will probably, especially if you are new, unless you have like ready quote unquote suppliers lah, means you know if this project gets secured, right, your development finally can go into production, you already have identified the teams that you want to work with to produce, right? Maybe it would have been a different situation. But in my head that time, the idea was that we want to build our own team, we want to train our own core team apa semua ni. So yeah, it was a struggle to balance that too lah. And then finally when production get to jalan, it was also a rude awakening process, whereby we were used to the team that we have developed in the previous company, right? But when we work with a completely new team, suddenly we're like, oh my god, the benchmark is completely different. The level is different. Now we need to train lah, I guess, to keep polishing, trial error, all this to get to a point where we feel it's ready. And this is why, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but when we launched Ejen Ali finally on TV in 2016, right? In 2016, instead of running the entire series like any normal people would do, our show actually air 4 at a time. Like they come out 4
episodes.
4 episodes, and then next week to repeat. right? For I can't remember how long, but our schedule was it was like 4 and then later another 4 and
So
then later,
4 release one time and then there's a 3 weeks gap before the next 4 release
I can't remember how long the gap was. It was long enough. We begged for long enough so that we can finish. The thing is, like I said, right, because we were facing challenge with the
production.
with the production capacity and building the team and things like that. So we couldn't ramp up quick enough or train fast enough to build all this so that we are ready to deliver everything. So by the time we got to the airing deadline already, we had to renegotiate to hey, please lah, we can only deliver this many. Yeah, that was tough lah.
Yeah,
that was
sure.
tough, and of course, Media Prima naturally not happy about it. But I think the silver lining was that when we air our series this way, we then get to watch the audience reaction materializing, and then we could see like them starting to come up with their theory. Like for example, Rizwan, one of our character, Agent Rizwan, he was meant to be one of the villain in the beginning, right? But when we introduced him in the second episode, suddenly we see the comment in social media, this one lah, the bad guy. And then we're like, how did they know, right? Yeah, so I think that helped us level up our storytelling, like
I see.
steer the storytelling according to how the audience perceives. Give them a bit of a twist.
Yeah, I think it was silver lining lah. Because had we delivered everything, maybe our story wouldn't have been as intricate or as complex. But yeah, that season 1 became like suddenly now we were learning how the audience were thinking, right? And then we as writers, as creators, get to level up ourselves to how to say, be a step ahead of the audience. And finally we deliver. And I think towards the ending of the season, the twists were shocking lah. Like to them that now it's like, that was such a good season, right? Like
get back to you.
Yeah, the audience are like happy with it. And then we needed to make the second season lah. That's when the first the worry starts sinking in. Okay, that was well delivered. Now how do we top that one? Yeah. Also important to I think interesting to include. So when I first pitched to Dato' Izam and Media Prima, I told them it's gonna be like season 1, season 2, movie, season 3, 4, 5, second movie, and then we're done. Like that's the entire Ejen Ali story, right? I even do a short log line or summary for each of these arcs. And then he was like, okay, but we should start with just the first 2 seasons. Media Prima is just going to come in for the first two seasons, because his justification was that 1 season might be too short, like the volume might be too little for to tell whether the show will take off or not. But if after 2 seasons you're still not getting traction, they say maybe no need to continue already lah. Yeah. But after 3 episodes, rating was all time high. It was 2.5 million. So they were like, okay, let's start talking about the movie.
Was that just aired on national television, or you guys going into YouTube as well?
First season it was only on TV, because Media Prima had Tonton and they didn't want it to go on YouTube. But by the time we got into second season, we were like, we're not getting enough traction on Tonton. We want it on YouTube, so we managed to negotiate lah. We geolog to Malaysia, or is it Malaysia and Indonesia? Then I think that also helped the cause lah. Yeah, help get some eyeballs. Yeah, but YouTube has never actually been like our main
strategy,
the main biggest platform lah. Of course, I think because you partner with Media Prima, I think they also, because once you already put it for any platforms lah, for them, if the visibility is too much already, they want to take also, they don't want to pay good money for it. Like, it's like, because it's not exclusive to my platform. Yeah, like that lah.
How big was the team?
First season, when we started, it was almost 20 or around 20. By the end of it, was 40.
Oh,
That's the part. Actually, we intend to have 40, but this is the problem. Like I said, when you want to ramp up, but you don't have the capital, and then now you have to start already, but you have no time to ramp up the team. So as we go, we slowly grow until about 40 lah, I think.
So I have to hustle from the beginning until the end of the
yeah.
finish of the whole season.
The same thing was with the second season, because we know to deliver the movie, we're probably going to need around 80 people. So we needed to scale up from the second season, from the beginning until the end, so that we'll have enough people to deliver the movie. Yeah.
Usamah, how hard is it to find investment? How many investors that you actually find after you land from Media Prima? How many was it previously? Is it a lot?
Around 20-ish people before landing one. Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you take it? Like, because you have to go through every single rejection.
Do you feel like this is not going to work?
Yeah.
I don't think people's going to fund this thing.
Yes.
At times, but then you read up about entrepreneurs and people doing business. This is what they face. Even filmmakers, indie filmmakers that don't work with studios, right? They have to look for people to fund their films. It's like when I listen to this, I know how you feel. Right? I understand, but I think it came to a point where I'm like, this is the reality that I've chosen, right? So you can't have that mentality where you are somewhat special, that you should be entitled to this just because you have some idea that you think is good. In fact, I think for me, we actually had an advantage because our team came out from the team from Upin and Ipin, and people were already paying attention. Like the day I left, some people from MDEC was calling me. It's like, okay, what's your plan? Like, do you need
support?
Maybe we should meet to see how we can help. So I was very lucky to have that. I mean, not everyone would have the same chance, would have the same privilege, right? But at the same time, I have to be realistic enough. Just because you get that kind of opportunity with MDEC doesn't mean everyone's gonna pay attention to you just because you've done something lah. Yeah, I also learn after doing Ejen Ali, especially when you're trying to work out your numbers, your planning, your 5 years projection, right? Like what project to do. There was once I presented the plan, right? And then I was showing the kind of numbers that was coming in. And then the guy was like, I see you assume that all your project is going to be a hit just as big as Ejen Ali. And then I was like, but was I not supposed to do that? And then later on, I read in Richard Branson's book, how when they started Virgin Music, right? Like they
Virgin Music. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
They had to work. I think they started with about 3 or 5 artists, and then later on they see which one worked. So I was like, yeah, now you understand the industry further and how people think in the industry. Yeah, it's even though you've done hits, it will be foolish to assume that you'll always be as lucky, right? And I think it's a humbling thing also, having gone through, I know Ejen Ali is a hit, right? Upin Ipin was a hit, but there were also things that we were doing in between that was not as big, right?
Oh,
and I think it was
Ejen Ali?
At the previous company.
Okay.
I think after Upin and Ipin, not everything is as big as Upin and Ipin. So I think that was also a very eye-opening stage. And I remember being there. I was also not very adamant. Means sometimes I would give in to a lot of ideas when people generally feel like the temperature feels like this is good enough, right? Like even though sometimes I feel like I think we can still polish this, but I would give in because I feel like this is the time that we have, and like why want to make work much harder, right? Like why does it have to be like what's in your head, like? But
gotta be realistic.
But having gone through that, and then not see the success that is setimpal, what's the word, that is as because you work hard to produce everything, right? But sometimes you sort of like skimp on that last 10%, right? And then when it comes out and it doesn't blow up, and then you feel like I should have, right?
You question that 10%, or maybe it makes a difference, right?
So I think that was a very eye-opening, humbling. Like you shouldn't assume that you have it all figured out. It's not simple maths. It's not just formula you can put together and then it will work. You have to trust your inner voice, your instinct also. At least to the point, I know nothing's going to be perfect, right? But you have to trust it to the point that you feel like you've done enough, right? You've done enough. You've worked hard enough for it to be out. Yeah.
Was there any time after the whole green light of Ejen Ali, you hired a team? Was there a time where you feel like the funding is not going to sustain, financial issue, cash flow issues?
And probably that's it.
That's many times. We have this thing where we tend to do more than what we bargain for, bite off more than you can chew. It shows in our output, I think. Like I sometimes would describe, if you give us 1 million, we'll probably try to do something that's worth 3 million, right? It's not intentional, but I think it's something that we can't help doing because we just feel like it could be better. Why stop there? It's not always a fun thing to have. But yeah, to answer your question, during season 1, there have been like a few points where it's funding became a problem because we couldn't meet the timeline fast enough, because you need to hit certain milestone, right? And then you tak sampai, and then you have to nego and back, like how can we still get like some money. Second season also like that. First movie also like that. First movie came to a point where it was gonna get very messy lah. In terms of arrangement, all the share structure and all this, that we resorted to actually taking up bank loan to got us through to the finish line. But the biggest part where we felt there was no longer any way out was post-COVID lah. During COVID, actually, we managed to stay afloat because even though we were just like riding on tiny jobs, right? Money from the cinema collection was still coming in, although very slowly. This is what happened, right? First movie became a hit. Like, it was the highest grossing movie in 2019. We were all like happy. It's like, okay, we're all set because for the next movie, we're gonna have enough to roll. Media Prima was really confident to come in to invest in the next one. So we felt like, we're gonna be set.
So everything, go through, can jalan lah.
Line up nicely, the stars align.
Counting your chicken already. Right? Even though the money was not in your account yet. And then COVID hits. First thing that happened is that cinema
Close.
And then they were like, we can't. You see, cinema is supposed to pay you, if I'm not mistaken, between 3 to 6 or 3 to 9 months tops. but they were already like asking for ansuran, longer longer installments because they need to manage their cash flow, right? Because they have no business.
That's
during
the
pandemic.
profits from the movie
Collection,
itself, collection, right?
Yeah. Means we thought that by this time we're gonna get like
Yeah.
few million, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but now instead of few million, we only gonna get this much, and then it's
Drag longer.
drag longer. And then we were supposed to start the second movie, basically the second big project. That one got put on hold because now when cinema closed, Media Prima also got cold feet lah. Like it's because they can't see when the investment gonna come back, so they can't decide yet. Yeah, so we had to live through. I didn't. You see, when you look at your movie collections, you feel like, I get to reward my team. I mean, my office nicer, all this.
You go
all
company
that,
trip.
Yeah. All that couldn't happen lah. All that couldn't happen. But I think if you ask me, the one achievement that we managed to have was that I managed to got my team through the pandemic, the MCO period without laying off, without potong gaji, without any pay reduction. It was about 100 people and 98 people. But post-COVID, it got a bit too heavy already. Like to get them through, we kind of extended some of our bank loans. Was begging EPF for like, can we hold some of the payments a bit longer, all this. And it came to a point where it was too heavy already lah. We couldn't bring the jobs back fast enough or big enough to cover back the. So in 2023, I think, was it 23 or 24, we finally had to go through a downsizing. I think that was probably the
Hardest thing to do.
hardest thing lah. Yeah. Some days it was just like after saying bye to the guys, you just like lie down on the floor and sleep. There's nothing else you can think, nothing else you can
I understand
do.
the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was sucks lah. Even though like on paper in the media you're such a public success, but it's sad that you have to go through that lah. And I know the team, like they say they understand, but I don't know to what extent they understand lah.
Yeah, because sometimes as a founder, as a CEO, it's not easy.
It can get lonely at times lah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because as colleagues, you have people to talk to, right?
Yeah.
But as a founder, you are taking everything on yourself, right? So it's
How do you feel when they say that, like, boss Usamah, I understand that.
This one like movie reviews also lah. Some are very good, right? Some are bad. Of course, you have that in your team. So some I think they are understanding. You can see the honesty and how to say how they don't want to leave, right? You can feel the energy. But some, they're probably like, whatever, man. like no remorse or no, it's your company, right? And I understand that it's what you have to go through.
So now let's move on a bit to the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That was a bit dark. That went a bit dark, but something that every entrepreneur had to go through at some point, right? So let's talk about something more happy about the Ejen Ali movie. So what do you want to achieve? What was your plan? What do you want to achieve in the movie compared to the series? When you pitch for the movie and start developing movie?
I think with movie usually you get to be a little grand with your work, like with series, right? You want to do the best you can, but at the same time you have to have that very big reality hat that you have to wear. Like, if we do this, can we sustain over the long form, right? With movie, because volume wise it's already shorter, so you it's kind of like this lah. You can
compared to 20 minutes for 12 episodes, but only 1.5 hours for 90 minutes for a whole story.
The assumption is like that because for our series it's about 270 minutes. Our movie we planned for 90 minutes, but this one turns out to be almost 2 hours. Yeah, just a little shy of 2 hours. But still, the mindset is that with a movie, you tend to get a little ambitious. With the story, like I think storytelling wise, it's just finding a different angle, a different dimension. Because you see, when we did the first movie, the core of it was the relationship between Ali and his late mother, right? So that was very emotional for the audience, and I think it worked really well because everyone understand, like whether you're in Malaysia or you're in US or Japan or whatever, everyone knows what it's like, relationship with a mother, right? And it's very universal, and it can get very emotional when you play with this thing. So going into the second movie, I think that was the biggest challenge. How do you deliver an emotional hook that is comparable to that, or if not bigger, right? So yeah, I think storytelling wise, it's the exploration of that, which become the whole how the second movie, the emotional core is Ali's relationship with Alicia, their friendship, or rather their rivalry, because throughout all the previous format, throughout all the previous arc, their relationship has always been like that. They are teammates, but they hate each other's guts. And then now in this movie, you finally get to see them in a different light, right? So yeah, I think storytelling wise, it was just trying to not just repeat the same thing, trying to find what could still wow the audience. And after, I think it gets tough because after pulling off some really awesome plot twists and endings, it gets like, how else do you do this, right?
Yeah, what's new?
Yeah. So I think that's, in terms of content, I think that was one of the biggest thing that we chased after. My team, on the other hand, I was shocked to see when my partner Faiz, he was like, I want to upgrade the visual. I was like, serious? I don't know if we have enough time. But I'm glad that they think that way, because it was pushing themselves outside the comfort zone, and the level of details were very apparent. Like the audience, the first time they watch it, they even when they watch just the sneak peek, they pointed out, wow, it's not just giving you a new movie, they're taking the benchmark to a whole new level, right? So I think the team in a manner like successfully did that, like upgrading it to a new degree. Not to say again, it's not perfection, but it's very apparent that it's much nicer than the previous formats, right? And I think another thing that people always point out with our animation is how good the audio is. I think this one is sort of like the storytelling also lah. It's exploring a new dimension. I was shocked when my composer said he wanted Dato' M. Nasir on our soundtrack. I was like, are you serious? But somehow, we managed to land that. And on top of that, we have Hail Hussaini, who is, I think, resonates so well with the contemporary demographics. And then we have Niji from Indonesia doing, I think, not just a soundtrack, but a soundtrack that outlines the emotional core of the story, where that tells the story of Ali and Alicia's friendship. And then we have Fugo, who's actually one of our composer. He has a band, so they also made another song for. So I think we've delivered well on those three ends, and I think it did. I mean, it achieved what it set out to do, lah. Yeah.
I think with all this, I think really deserve the whooping
The whopping 59 million. And he also defeated a few big movies in the cinema, right? In Malaysia. Like Ne Zha, Mission Impossible, is it?
Mission Impossible was out the same time. That was scary.
And funny thing is, Missy Mustahak. Your first, and then now in Malaysia, you defeated the original Missy Mustahak, the OG.
Yes.
In Malaysia, but it's still, I think it's still something to be proud of. But in terms of like the whole plot, I saw you guys also going into a bit of AI and technology.
Project S.A.T.U.R.A.
Right?
Yeah.
So is that like intentional to explore a bit of the
Yeah,
modern?
yeah. No, it's you see, when we first do S.A.T.U.R.A, it was the whole AI thing coming alive, becoming the threat, something that's supposed to be Ali's new, how to say, new suit that is supposed to elevate him, suddenly becomes the threat that he's supposed to go against lah. Hopefully this is no longer spoiler to anyone. But yeah, it's it has always, I mean, from the beginning of the inception of the idea, it was to do that, the AI becoming the threat, right? Or rather S.A.T.U.R.A becoming the threat. But as we go along, the depiction of that, I think it's because you see technology or AI or robot going against human is not actually something new. But Hollywood have done it a bunch of times, and they've done it really well, right? You don't want to just like tell your story there and then like become just, this one is
Another
like
Hollywood
yeah,
plot,
another. So we try to we were struggling actually at one point trying to find that distinction, trying to, how do we make this not like Ultron or not like whoever, right? And also with the limited screen time. Yeah, because you in Asia you have there's actually 3 big stories. Like you have the Alisha's Ali now with S.A.T.U.R.A, Alisha now with Iris. You have Agent Rizwan and his team on the side. You have Neonimus.
There are a lot of things going on.
A lot of things to pack into that one story. That we felt that okay, maybe we need to combine the AI and the main bad guy, not to keep them too separated, right? Because initially it was separate. So then we sort of like mishmashed that together, and then I watched this will.i.am, the rapper singer. He was talking, because I was watching interviews and people talking about AI and what's the stake is now, like how it's developing, and then will.i.am, he put it in a very like layman way of saying, in a layman statement. He was saying like everyone's talking about AI, but what about HI, like human intelligence? Like you're prioritizing the AI development, but whatever's happening to our own education, and that sort of like stuck with me. It was like, so it become like AI versus HI kind of thing. And another thing that I feel is also like very present in our industry now is generative AI, and the issues that it has, the non-consent of training the AI using actual artists' work without their permission.
Consent,
and then now like threatening to replace them pula, and then copyright issues, all this. So I felt like it would be nice, it would be amazing if we could fuse that into our story. Not supposedly like it's not literally generative AI, but we were doing like a metaphor of that lah. Yeah, and also in what Ali was feeling and saying, it's sort of like a love letter to the industry also lah. Yeah.
So there's a deeper meaning to just another AI story.
Yeah.
But with all this, I mean, like the current success of Ejen Ali, do you plan to? Is there any Transmedia gonna happen? For Ejen Ali.
Yeah, actually, when we first started, I remember what we wanted to do with our content is also Transmedia. But the growth of Transmedia, I think, is didn't go the way completely like how we expected, and I think it didn't. It's not going at the, how to say, it's not level. It's going at different speed, right? So I think we have our comics, we have our mobile games, and some of our story actually like the character like Neonimus, right? We first actually created him in our mobile game, the first mobile game.
Okay.
And when we finally bring Neonimus into the series, which was in season 2, we would do like a callback to that. Like, oh, this is the guy that disrupt our base, and then so he already know Ali by that point. So the audience who didn't play the game actually would go and check out the game, and try to understand like what's the story. But yeah, I think to do this, it would be right now we have to see, because of the different level, it's at varying success. You know what I mean? The penetration of the eyeballs, or how many people you can get on game, how many on how to say, comics or graphic novels. But now a new one is rising is I think YouTube Shorts. Yeah, I think it's a format that is interesting, and I mentioned earlier right before we start. It was like it's something I'm trying to understand, because I sense there's like an opportunity of engagement here where people are consuming a lot of bite-sized contents, right? They're not always gonna just find the time to watch 20 minutes or go to the cinema. So now how we then like try to capitalize on this platform lah. But first you have to understand it, and I think that's where I am at now. Like it's like I need to figure out, because I keep hearing like a lot of short series. I just can't imagine how to tell the story yet.
different generation. Really.
Yeah.
Because everything have to lump in into just only 1 minute or 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah. Because Ejen Ali is not designed for short
Not
stories.
yet. Yeah.
Not yet.
I think because I haven't consumed anything like that yet, right? But I think if we could take the time to understand the audience, the story, how a story is meant to be told in this manner.
Or just do Ejen Ali dancing now. Do some TikTok dance.
We do already have some of that. Yeah, actually on Ejen Ali TikTok, my social media team, they do sometimes like join the trend. Right? Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm more intrigued by the whole like storytelling spectrum of this.
How does the game doing actually comparing to movie and your series?
Well, to be quite honest, the games mostly were made as a promotional angle. We had 2 games that have in-app purchases, but I don't think it was making much. As it was making more on advertising rather than the in-app purchases lah. Yeah, but I think actually it's need to spend time on it lah, because we don't constantly have budget to keep updating the game, because when we have new characters, we have new gadgets or things that are happening, I think would be interesting to have in the game, but that is outside our area of expertise. We actually hire an external team to do the game. Yeah, so depending on budget also and their availability, as opposed to on animation, we can try like bootstrapping a lot of it, right? Yeah.
I see. But how do you see it? Because I think like as we understand, games could be it will be $100 million.
I think game is actually a very good avenue. You just need to have the right idea and the right people behind it. Because growing up, I mean, I was
you like to play games as well,
I love
right?
playing games. It has its own unique experience, right? You live through the story through your character. I think, if we could build an actual Ejen Ali adventure game, right? Wah. Damn
Sure.
chill. Yeah.
It's, fulfilling your Final Fantasy dreams.
Yeah.
Open world.
Open-
Ejen Ali.
We'll see lah. Maybe one day.
Metal
yeah.
Gear Solid style of game. Ejen Ali Spy.
Yeah. Oh man. I played that too. Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, yeah,
I
by
still
far my
remember
favorite
when you have to switch port. Like I did.
The Metal Gear 2. No, Metal Gear 1, right?
Two. That one is two.
Yeah, switching the controller,
I
right?
couldn't figure it out, and then I said, "Bang." Turns out another person at school was playing, and then he said, "Oh, you actually." I was like, "What?
yeah.
Have to switch it.
How is this?"
Because that boss can
read your mind. Yeah.
So he keep figuring out your actions. Every button you press, he can figure out. So when you
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
the player
Yeah,
you cannot read
you have to change
Oh.
spot. You have to
Oh.
change spot. It's like
Oh.
no other game have done that before.
Yeah,
That's why I don't
that's
think it was
crazy.
like
Kojima's
I see,
style, man.
I see. Interesting.
So talking about the success of the movie, I know you're celebrating the success of the movie now, which you truly deserve, or have you already moved on to something new or thinking of something new already?
even when we were launching the movie, even when we were towards the end of the movie, right? Some of the sign off that we were doing, of course, you already start discussing. Okay, so this one, how do we continue this? Right? So we already start drafting the script, right? And yeah, I think every week is like now start piecing the new one together lah. Yeah, and I think it's also to discuss our strategy because we if we want to make the next movie, we also need to figure out like what to have before that, leading up to that, right? So yeah, it's all in the planning lah.
I see. I see.
In fact, later today also I'm gonna have meeting with Media Prima
I
to
see.
discuss this.
I
Yeah.
see.
So are you planning to expand to more international markets? Because right now I think it's more in Southeast Asia market,
Yes.
right?
I believe the distribution side in Media Prima talking to a few parties outside of Southeast Asia. So some sounds promising, but I am not at liberty to share yet lah. But yeah, I think it's an exciting time to
explore the global market.
Hopefully this will open more doors, not just for our studio but for the rest of the industry. Because I believe that's the vital recipe, so to speak. Because whenever you talk to people, not just in animation in Malaysia, but also on the filmmaking side, right? When they make production, they're always talking about how we don't have enough budget to do it, because we have to compete with Hollywood, but we have our budget lah, right?
We don't have a Hollywood budget.
Tiny fraction of a budget.
So I think, in my opinion, in order to solve that, you cannot wait until the budget become big. You have to inch your way towards that budget, right? So unlocking all this new territory for us to go in, which hopefully then will become like an open door for your successor, or rather whoever that comes making movie after you, to also explore that same path, and then hopefully eventually it will open up the entire world, right? Because I think that's what Hollywood is obviously doing. That's where Korea is finding their success,
yes.
right? Being able to, and Japan also, like the Ghiblis, the Narutos, right?
Yeah.
Once you get to have your content being consumed globally, that's when you've made it, and you can now talk about like having that kind of budget lah. If not, then if you're only gonna sell here and just slightly pass your shore, it's a bit. Don't talk Hollywood budget lah. Yeah.
But that's the dream lah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone in the industry wants
Yeah. My dream is that when people sembang about animation, right?
We'll talk about Ejen Ali.
No, they cannot leave Malaysia out of the conversation. It's not, because
put
now
Malaysia on the global map.
yeah, now when they sembang, definitely we'll mention Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, Sony is now very big, right? I think if they go outside of Hollywood, you have the French, they do like crazy animation, right? Like Arcane by Fortiche.
Fortiche.
Yeah. And then I think Japan definitely have very strong footing. Korea coming up. I feel Malaysia. If we keep because if you look at the past 15, 20 years, the growth in our animation side have been by leaps and bounds. So I think if we can keep this pace, right, keep getting like another pelapis generation that is, I think we can. Yeah.
But just now you mentioned, right? Season 1, Season 2, then movie.
Yeah.
Then Season 3, then Season 4, then movie 2, right?
Yeah.
Then is this the end of Ejen Ali?
Yeah. If you notice, actually it changed already. I pitched Season 1, Season 2 movie, right? Season 3 and then 4, 5 and then movie. But now Season 3 and then movie already. So, and this movie also, I'm hoping to follow up with another movie because I leave it on such a cliffhanger. I don't want people to be like, if we go to series, I feel those who don't follow the series, they will be completely lost by the time the next movie come out. So I want to sambung with another movie first, and then only maybe next series or another. But okay, if you ask how far we are, there's a few more arcs in the story. Like of course, when we start Ejen Ali, we already have like a very rough idea how the story gonna go. I didn't do it completely like open-ended because I don't like that kind of story. I feel if a story doesn't have an ending, how do you know whether it's a good story or not? It's a story.
Very frustrating for the people watching as well.
Yeah. And I don't want to be one of those shows where you just milk the idea until to the point no one cares anymore. Now only you want to end the story, right? I don't want it to be like that. So yeah, there's a few more, not so many. When I say few, in the main arc lah, maybe another 3. Maybe another
Akan
3 arcs.
datang.
Right.
Not quoting you, don't worry. But around 3 lah. Around 3.
Maybe lah. We don't know because
maybe.
from our initial plan also it evolved, right? Who knows if it evolved further? But there's a lot of talks for spin-off already, so which I'm also excited to explore. And of course, if ever like we finish doing Ejen Ali, I'm not saying like in the future there can't be a reboot of the concept lah. Means whether it's Ejen Ali or a new agent within the same universe. Yeah, I think those are all exciting things to explore lah.
Awesome. Looking forward to see how Ejen Ali is going to go in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, me too.
But are we expecting any like live action movie for Ejen Ali? Or is this gonna be animation? Or is it gonna be like real person there, you know?
At this point, I don't feel like the brand is ready.
Okay.
And I'm saying the brand because I'm not ready. I'm not ready to see
real life
goes
or
into
real life Ejen Ali.
I don't know if I'll ever be ready. But yeah, I feel a brand need to have very strong establishment before we even go there. Because if we look at Marvel also, they've been around very long before, like half a decade. No, not half a decade, half a century.
Yeah,
Right?
Quite long. And then after that, they only do the real life.
Yeah. So and when they first started, also they were trying to figure it out a lot, right? Before it came to the MCU and finally started bearing result lah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think lepak dulu lah. Let's do the animation
One step at a
first.
time.
Yeah. And in fact, I think we're closer to doing a game before we do live action, right? Because game and series is sort of like bears that same brand feel, right? The yeah. But if you go into live action, wow, the feel is going to be so different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary.
Cool. So let's jump into questions from our community.
Oh
from
yeah,
our fans.
actually there are a few questions actually from the community that actually wanted to ask,
Yeah, so
Encik
we
Usamah.
left a teaser post at our YouTube channel, and there's a lot of fans jumping in and leave some interesting questions for you. So, Steven, take it away, man.
Sure. Let me just go through some of the question here.
Give Usamah the hardest one.
I think the first one, let's go for the easy one first.
Yeah.
So there's this name called Shah, mentioning that why the name is called Ejen Ali. Why is it called Ali?
Oh, why is it called Ali? Okay, Ejen Ali because it's the most textbook name. The reason why is that, like when I wanted to name the character, I was thinking how, you know, in Hollywood movies, right? Like the agent name is like the most plain alias is like John Smith, right? Like John. So it's Ali. I feel it's like the John of Malaysia kind of thing. It's the most
very generic and
it's the most
popular
textbook name.
Yeah.
In the beginning, actually, we wanted Ali to be just like sort of like his alias, not his real name. But then, as we were developing, we realized if all the agents have like two names, like, you know, their real name and then their alias name is gonna get really confusing and hard to keep up for all the audience since we have so many characters. So we ended up just using it as his actual name also.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I think it works. Ejen Ali is definitely
Yeah.
something very
And his
easy
name-
to remember.
Yeah.
Remember.
Because I
the
think
person.
in our
Also-
childhood as well, I think Ali is like quite common.
Yeah. Actually, and we feel when I presented the name, some of my partners also argued that actually Ali is also very interesting because it's a very global Muslim name. Means people know that this character is Muslim, but it's also a known name, right? It's not like rare. Means like if people outside of Malaysia they hear this name, they also is like, what kind of name is this?
Ali is quite global.
Yeah. Because you have Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, very global name.
Hope that answers your question though. Okay, so there's this second one called Riza. So is there any chance for Ejen Ali Season 3 to be streamed on other platforms like Netflix? What's the story behind the Disney Plus Hotstar co-production of Ejen Ali Season 3?
Okay, the story is that we, like I said, post-COVID, we wanted to make a movie, but the movie got put on hold, right? And around that same time also, Dato' Izam, who was the CEO of Primeworks, left to join Disney, and he was heading the Southeast Asia.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And they were launching Disney Plus Hotstar in Malaysia. Prior to that, I think they were around already in Singapore, but it was finally coming to Malaysia. So it was like, okay, let's collab with some local content. So that's how we got to work with Disney, which I think was an amazing experience. I mean, to be on the same platform as like so many of
Marvels
your,
and stuff.
yeah, Star Wars. So these are things from your childhood, right? And the first part of that question, whether it will be on Netflix, yes. The of course, with all this collaboration and I think acquisition or selling of the rights, they have the expiry. I can't share exactly when, but it's gonna be soon lah. And it's actually also now already been how to say, it just, I think about few days back,
The Ejen Ali, I think the first one is in the Netflix.
No, season 3 have just been included in the Tonton punya library. Prior to this, they had season 1, season 2, and I think the first movie, they didn't have season 3, but just recently added. So now, actually, if you want to watch the entire Ejen Ali library, you can head to Tonton. No, on Netflix, actually, we have to see because OTT, all this very depending on.
It's the first movie on Netflix. I felt like
It
I've
was.
seen it before.
It was, but not anymore because the rights have expired.
Okay.
I just felt I think I saw the.
I thought so
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I thought so too. I was
This one all
browsing.
down to how much we can negotiate. lah. Yeah.
But so
I
now
think-
the first movie is at Disney Plus.
I'm not sure. Is it? I know season 3 is definitely on
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yeah, that was actually our issue while we were launching this movie. The library was a bit scattered lah. Some on Netflix, some on Disney Plus. But yeah, just to share that the hardest one to find outside of Disney Plus before this was season 3. But now it's already included. So
Tonton.
everything is on Tonton lah. Yeah.
Yeah, but the movie, how if people want to watch the first movie, where
It's also on Tonton.
Tonton lah.
On Tonton also,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I think this is the last question.
Yeah.
From Zeki Nater 9870. Any new info on the new upcoming projects? I think which is Usamah mentioned.
Yeah. yeah.
Three movies.
We
Akan datang.
tease a bit lah. We might get a little bit of spin-off. Yeah, earlier than we expected, but yeah.
Akan datang.
Just ask a bit more.
Yeah.
You see if you can answer that. If not,
Yeah.
never mind. Spin-off in terms of movie or series or shorts.
I cannot answer that one.
That's fine. I try my best.
But yeah, maybe yeah, it's sooner than we expect lah.
Oh
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I just have one last question to Usamah. So imagine 10 years old Usamah is sitting in front of you. What would you say to him, and what he think of the man you have become today? After being through so many things,
Yeah.
ups and downs. Yeah.
I think I would tell him to take it easy lah. Like
Don't go to in the industry.
Don't do another spy movie.
I think enjoy yourself more. Like things get tough, right? Like, but everything pass. Like bad times will pass, good times also will also pass. Just enjoy life lah. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. I think that's that's underrated. I mean, like when you try to want to do great things, you tend to become very harsh with yourself. I think just enjoy everything a little more lah.
I see.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll add in a bit of the question. What would you improve or what would you change given the chance to restart back? Nothing. Is there anything you thought you could have done better?
Everything. everything could have been done better, but I wouldn't change anything because I remember at quite a young age, I think after going to MMU around that time, one day it kind of like just dawned upon me to whatever decision that I've made, just don't look back, never regret, just do your best in the path that you've chosen, because I think prior to that it was living with a lot of what ifs. All right, and I noticed that with a lot of people, so the grass is always greener when you look at other people, right? But like I told myself, you know what, this is not a very full way of living life. Like why are you choosing this life but wondering the things that you're not choosing, and wondering, like talking about things that have passed that you can do nothing about, right? Be present. I feel like, I think I told myself that never regret anything, right? Even if bad things happen, just never regret, because at the end of the day, you are who you are. You are where you are today because of what you've lived through, because of that experience. And I think I wouldn't want to change any of that. So to answer that question, I think, would I change anything? No. But if anything I could do better. I think everything could have been done better, knowing what you know now. Yeah.
Awesome.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
Actually, how does your family think when when you want to become an entrepreneur at that time?
Oh.
How does your wife think?
That's a good question.
Since Aziz is here,
Okay.
does it really like shock her? Oh my god, you want to become an entrepreneur?
This one is, I guess, is the if I were to pick the starting of WAU, right? My wife, I think she actually supported my decision. I think if she didn't support my decision, I wouldn't have. But I think she supported my decision because she saw how miserable I was becoming. Like all this wondering, right? Like questioning, should I have done this? Like, what if this? What if that? Right? And I think it was driving her as crazy as me, lah. So she was like, you know what? It's okay. You can do it. I believe.
Just do it.
Yeah. Which is why also like she also the one who suggested okay, because I didn't have like capital, right? So she said, okay, well, let's ask my parents. In fact, I think all this have made possible also, like, because you see, it's not everyone is fortunate enough to have the capacity to chase after your dream. So if you ask me what my wife think, I think she sangat believe in me lah, that she would allow me to do this. And even when you see doing this kind of things, I mean, you own a business, you are already like sacrificing a lot of your time away from the family.
Away from your family.
You don't own a business, you are an animator, so you're sacrificing a lot of time away from your family, right? True. You put this thing together, you combo lah, right? Memang a lot of times when I have to be away from the family, and my wife would hold the fort down lah, right? And yeah, I'm very thankful of that, because not everyone's wife gonna be okay with that, right? And some of it is like like huge milestone that you miss because of work. Like for the first movie, I remember I miss my son punya kindergarten punya performance, right? Dia tak marah. I mean, like he don't really get it and all this, right? But it broke my heart when I was home, and then I asked him to do the performance, and he was just doing it in our living room. Right? And he was doing it like sungguh-sungguh,
Live stream.
Yeah. So I was, it really touched me, and I was like, I can't believe I missed this. Like, he's dancing alone here, right? And for this second movie, actually, I was away during my elder son's birthday. He's a teenager now, right? He acted like it was okay, right? But when the day come, it was actually hard for him lah.
I see.
And it was hard for me also.
I see.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Take your time.
It's okay.
That's that is the challenges of entrepreneurship, which no one sees. Everybody sees how good the business is, but no one
only the whopping 60.
59 million.
But behind the story, to be honest, is really,
it is.
Without the family support, I think it won't be until today.
But also, my siblings, back to when I started WAU, my sister said, "You're crazy lah, you want to start this, right?" My father, surprisingly, he was okay. And actually, after our first movie, right, someone went up to him and asked, "Did you ever imagine, like, your son will be doing all this, like, making movies, break record, like highest grossing movie of the year?" He said, actually, when he wanted to start WAU, the question was actually, were you worried when he wanted to start WAU? My dad said, actually, after what he has done during the university days, and then there's Upin and Ipin. He said actually he felt okay. Like when I wanted to start WAU, he had faith lah. But he said he was actually worried when I picked creative multimedia MMU. He said because he had no clue what it was and he don't know what kind of future I would have, right? But I'm thankful that even though that was his state of mind, he didn't stop me from pursuing that. Because I know a lot of parents everyone wants the best for your child, but you might not always know what's best, right? And I'm very thankful that he had faith enough that I would find my way. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry. Got emotional.
No. I can feel it. I can feel your emotion. I can feel how the things that he went through. Definitely, it's
almost survived without without anything.
I just have one last question. What message do you have for the fans of Ejen Ali?
For the fans.
For the fans who are watching, especially this podcast, this conversation.
Thank you very much for all the support that they've given, for loving Ejen Ali as much as much as they have. It takes a lot of effort to make this right, and I think their support and their appreciation make it worth our while. Yeah. Just to shout out also, I think my team. It's not just me as the founder or the CEO to put in all this sacrifice, right? It takes a team lah. My partners.
Take a whole village.
So, yeah,
The whole team.
And I appreciate that. In fact, I saw in your question actually, but you guys never asked. What are some of the things that was the hardest and what got me through it?
Yes,
right?
actually, I wanted to ask that, but the moment passed already.
I think now that I'm talking about the team, there were times when I think we came to a point, or I've come to a point when I feel like there's no more time. There's the stake of not finishing will be too big already. So I've come to a point where creatively I was like, whatever we can finish, it's that lah, right? Just buat lah, janji siap lah. That was, but it in a way it was giving up to a certain degree, right? Not trying my best, but seeing how the team refused to do that means when they read the script, they see the story, they still want to do their best to deliver, right? It got me through that. Like when you feel like you are in a battle and you feel like you are done for, you're done fighting already, right? You just want the battle to be over. But then you look around, you see your soldiers all still fighting, so you can't help but as the commander takkan you want to give up, right?
Yeah.
You need to keep fighting for your team. That's
Spark back the fire in you.
Got me,
And got you through as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team is extremely important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, WAU Animation team.
And thank you to the fans who are watching to make Ejen Ali a success. Yeah. So I think that's the end of the conversation. I'm definitely impressed with what WAU Animation has done.
Thank you.
In terms of bringing Malaysia to the global stage, using animation, as the medium, and Ejen Ali has been a great success. So congratulations to you. I think you guys deserve every single bit of credits for the movie. Yeah, and for people who haven't watched it, make sure to go ahead and watch all the season of Ejen Ali 1, 2, 3, the first movie at Tonton. I'm not sure when this episode come out, Ejen Ali 2 movie is still in cinema. If not,
Hopefully it is. Yeah.
Hopefully it is. But if not, I think we can all watch it at Disney Plus in the future, maybe, or somewhere.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll announce that.
Okay.
Sure. But if it's still in the cinema, just go catch it because it's not going to be so soon because we are trying to make sure we focus on all the international cinema distribution first before heading to all these OTTs, right? So anyone here thinking like, tak apalah, I'll wait until
tengok
come
dulu
out
lah.
Netflix
Tunggu dulu
or
lah.
this, I don't know. That's gonna be quite a while. So
Yeah. Or fly to overseas and watch
yeah,
it.
do that.
Yeah, make sure you enjoy the cinema experience in the big screen.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the end. Thank you so much, Usamah, for coming on the
thank
show.
you guys for having me.
It's been
Thank you for
we are
coming.
looking forward to this conversation and definitely learn a lot about the stories and how Ejen Ali came about.
All right. Thank
Right.
you.
So again, if you guys like this episode, please subscribe and like this video. And also leave some comments below. If you have any question for Usamah, we'll try to squeeze out a bit more from Usamah and get back to you guys. So if you discover this journal, don't keep it to yourself. Share it to the world. And me and Steven will see you guys in the next episode. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Hey,
Usamah.
thank you. Hope
Thank you,
that
thank
was helpful.
No, that was awesome.
Really, really awesome. Yeah.
That was awesome.